Maybe you're starting to explore a career as an appraiser and want to know if now is the right time to get started. Or you're measuring your career span in decades and want to find out more about the latest apps, technology, and resources that can make your life and work a bit easier. Get the answers and insight you need with Beyond the Numbers, a podcast from McKissock Learning. I'm Julie Mollendorp-Floyd, course and curriculum developer and instructor here at McKissock. Join me and an expert guest each week as we dive into the topics that matter most to appraisers, from industry and education news to marketing and other insights to help you run your business more effectively. If you'd like to stay at the forefront of appraisal news, boost your career, or just learn more about the profession, subscribe to Beyond the Numbers with McKissock Appraisal at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Hope to see you there soon. Welcome to Beyond the Numbers with McKissock Appraisal. I'm your host, Julie Mollendorp-Floyd, instructor for McKissock and Vice President of Regulatory Affairs for RSDS Appraisal Diversity. Today's guest is my friend Malinda Griffin. She is the president of the National Association of Appraisers, the 2020 president of SCPAC, the South Carolina Professional Appraisers Coalition. That was a hard one to say. The current vice chair of the Appraisal Foundation's Advisory Council and certified appraiser in South Carolina, and most of all around friend of the show. Welcome back, dear friend.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's a pleasure to be here.
So last time you were here, you were teaching us about diversifying your practice with divorce appraisals. Today, we're switching gears and we are talking about the National Association of Appraisers and why appraisers should join this wonderful organization. I'll admit I'm a member, so I might be a little biased, but tell us a little bit about the National Association of Appraisers.
The National Association of Appraisers, we like to say we are the boots on the ground appraisers. A lot of our appraisers are cert res or licensed. We do have some CGs or MAIs, and we respect all appraisers. We even have some business valuation appraisers on our membership. So, but we really go after the boots on the ground. I'm a individual sole proprietor here in South Carolina, and I work by myself. I've got a couple of trainees, but I don't really, other than getting out and mixing and mingle with SCPAC, I'm just the Lone Ranger over here. So I feel like it's important to be a member of an organization, which is why I joined SCPAC. Joined the NAA so that I would surround myself with appraisers who, if I have a question, I can give them a call and say, what would you do? How would you handle that? How do I get out of this? Or just any kind of question, whatever is floating across your desk today.
Yep. So that leads me to my next question. Appraisers are by nature not joiners. Many of us work from home where one person shops. We just don't join organizations of any sort. Whether it's a chamber of commerce, a professional group, we just don't do it. And as a fee appraiser, let's face it, time is money. If you're at a meeting, you're not writing an appraisal. So what makes the NAA a worthwhile investment of your finances and your time for an appraiser?
Well, several things, Julie. I mean, I don't know how long we'll have here today, but, several things. Two things that we do is we host 2 conferences a year where you can get continuing education. Not only do you get continuing education at these conferences, but you get networking opportunities with vendors for software, for vendors for adjustments, for new technology. But you get to meet people from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, or the Diversity Initiative, or McKissock, or CoreLogic, or whoever you get to meet these people, so that if you're working on something and need them, you've got their business card in your pocket.
Right.
The other thing is having a voice. Today is the deadline, am I correct, for the concept paper?
Yes, it is. The
And
concept
today,
paper for the qualifications board,
yeah,
yep.
July 31st. I don't know what day we'll air this, but like today is July 31st and it's the deadline for the concept paper. Me as an individual had
Mhm.
never thought about that I needed to address something like that or reply. I didn't even know
Right.
how to do it. So, with being a part of the association, we have a governmental affairs committee that
Yeah,
focuses on that. And it's not one person, it's a group of 9 people that spend a
right.
lot of time, with their thought process and weighing their reply. And then they
Mhm.
publish it to the population so that if you want to reply personally, in addition to what the association is doing
Okay.
on your behalf, you've got a template.
And that's Lori Egan, is that
Lori
correct? She's
Egan,
the chair of that committee?
Lori Egan,
Yeah.
and Laura Smith here from South Carolina, who
Right,
who is a
right.
regulator.
Mhm.
They're on that committee and share it together, and that's just, that's one of the many things that we do for you. When there is, not just the concept paper, but when you get to the exposure drafts and
Right.
all of these big words that really doesn't have anything to do with the appraisal, but it
Mhm.
affects your day-to-day licensing, and it's
Sure.
what could be coming ahead
Right. It gives that appraiser a voice.
of
So let's back up to the conferences. And I will say I went to my first NAA related conference back in May in Colorado Springs. It was wonderful, the ACTS conference. Uh, it was rejuvenating for me. I go to a lot of industry conferences, but this one had an energy, had a vibe. People who were there were excited about the profession. They were eager to learn more. I made more connections at that conference than I have in several years. And having those industry players there, if you had a question for, say, Fannie Mae, guess what? Their chief appraiser was there and he heard your question and he would answer you directly. It was amazing to me. Tell me about the two conferences that you offer. We have AX that's in the spring. What do you have in the fall?
in the fall. We always have appraisal summits. Our founder
Okay.
for national for NEA felt like we needed a representation in Vegas,
Oh, okay.
along with many other, because some people like to go to Vegas.
Sure.
And so it has a lot of entertainment, opportunities, and it's
Hmm?
just a good way to take a little mini vacation. But in the fall, every year, typically in September, we offer the summit. It's a similar conference in that you can get pre-credit CE, you can get conference CE, you get the opportunity for networking and for vendors to see what the latest greatest is. And so there again, we're just offering people a different opportunity to come together, to network, and to learn. The ACTS conference travels around the country. 2025 ACTS conference will be in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, I love it.
I know, I'm so excited. San Antonio is gonna be amazing, and Texas appraisers, their ATA association is working so hard to really pull something together that's going to be off the chain.
That's going to be amazing. So, if someone is interested in attending a conference, how do they go about doing that?
Well, we all are familiar with the web, so just look
Okay.
up I'm gonna say it correctly, NAappraisers, .org, and
Okay.
and on our website, there is a click that you can go straight to the appraisal summit. I know this is, again, I don't know when you're going to air this, but I also know that we're about to throw out a promotional right now that if
Oh,
you
wow.
register in the next couple of weeks, that there's going to be a giveaway of a $150 Amazon card. So
I'm always in it for more Amazon money.
we need Amazon money. And so we are going to do a little drawing for the people that register in the next couple of weeks, just to just as a little bonus because, everybody understands times are hard. You know,
Sure.
the volume is down, interest rates are up. If you haven't, I know we just talked about diversifying your practice. So if you're not a diversified appraiser and you're only a lender work, you may be suffering a little bit, right?
Right.
So we want to help you out, you know?
Touch on that appraiser. Is it the appraiser relief fund?
Yes. The
Tell me
appraiser
about that.
the appraiser relief fund was formed about 4 years ago after we had just had a string of disasters across the nation.
Okay.
We had some flooding, we had some tornadoes, it was during hurricane season. And
Mm-hmm.
we realized that we wanted to give back. We wanted to help in even an additional way. So we formed the
Right.
appraisal relief fund so that if you've gone through a natural disaster, like
Mm-hmm.
we're in hurricane season now, or if you have a medical issue that your
Okay.
insurance didn't cover and you're just struggling right there, there are some criteria out there, and again, that's on our website,
Okay.
unaappraisers.org, that you can apply to this fund. We have a great committee that Kathy Putnak chairs that
Okay.
evaluates each application that comes through. We've helped, I don't know, I think it's 18 or 20 people now, maybe
I
even
love
more
it.
as I lose count. But we do our fundraising events, and that money goes 100% of the money that we raise on our fundraising events at the silent auction or the live auction goes to the Appraiser Relief Fund and now the Scholarship Fund. We have the George R. Harrison Scholarship Fund that
Tell me more about that.
yeah, I don't know that I've even had a chance to talk to you about that. We formed that last year. That was something of mine. We are a sponsor, just like McKissock, with the ADI program, the Appraiser Diversity
Mm-hmm.
Initiative. And so we felt like, they reach a lot of people that are wanting to get into the business, but
Right.
they can't reach everyone. So as appraisers, let's give back to this profession that has given so much to us. And so we created a scholarship fund in honor of George Harrison that will help people get through their qualifying education to get
Okay.
license level.
Because that can be expensive.
It can be, and if it and everybody needs help. I mean, if you don't have a job
Sure.
and you're trying to get into the business and you've got to pay the education fees, sometimes it turns you away because you can't go to the
Right.
local community college where you may have a grant or where you may have something going on there because our industry just is not in that area.
Sure.
So we
That
decided,
that would be a barrier to entry, and we want to break those down as much as we can.
and
Sure.
that's where we came up with this is let's break down that barrier. Let's help people get a qualified education so that they can be a part of this. As we are facing several major things in our industry, with the UAD
Right.
when
That's
we
coming.
won't have forms anymore, we will have a data set. And so just my thought process is I think we may lose some of our senior appraisers, uh,
I think so.
just because they don't wanna learn that new process. Uh,
It's a big change. I get it.
it will be a change. I can be wrong, and I hope I am, because I love all of the senior appraisers that I know. But we've got to prepare, and if we're
Right.
not bringing younger folks in, we're gonna be in a crisis.
Yes, I agree. So tell me a little bit more about why we need an organization like NAA to present kind of a united voice of appraisers. Why is that so important to our industry?
Well, if we're not advocating for ourselves, and we can't be because
Right.
we're working. And so
I don't have time to go to Capitol Hill.
I, d- I don't, but I do,
Right.
because I do for you. I don't go to TASAC 3 times a year in DC just for myself. I go for
Right.
you. I go
go for us and
I
for
go
the
for
industry, and
all
thank
of
you.
I go for all of you to be a voice on what's happening in the appraisal world, for what is affecting appraisers that are out there, boots on the ground, trying to make a
Mhm.
living. And so I'm a voice and I can advocate on that basis. I listen in on Clubhouse. I listen in on other listening sessions so that I can hear what people are saying that they're struggling with, whether it's
Mhm.
education or the forms or the new bias class that's going to be coming out next year,
Right.
maybe even later this year, that we're all going to have to have. There's just a lot of things that are giving people heartburn, and so you've got to. But they're just letting them giving them heartburn. Let's
Right.
do something about that.
Let's be active.
Be
Sure.
active, and
Tell me a little bit more about Clubhouse. You mentioned Clubhouse. Tell me about it. I love Clubhouse, I will say.
yeah.
But tell our listeners about Clubhouse.
Clubhouse is an app on your phone. Doesn't matter what kind of phone you have anymore. It started out. It was I didn't design it, so don't blame me. Uh, Clubhouse is an app on your phone, like any other app you have, and
Mhm.
it's a forum where you have live talks, like you and I are having a
Right.
recorded talk right now. You just have live action communication, and I'm in Barry Phillips host on Monday, every other Monday
He
at
does.
4 p.m. Eastern Time, and Stephanie Street down in Texas hosts at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the opposite side on Fridays, every other.
Okay.
So and it's just open forum. It's kind of like bring it to the table. What's your question today? Is it
Mhm.
a USPAP question? Is it a forms question?
Right.
Is it a review? Is it a ROV? Reconsideration of value. Whatever is on your mind today, whatever is causing you heartburn, there is live people in the room that
And I
will,
love it. And
that
you
will
have
guide you.
I've attended quite a few Clubhouse sessions. I try to do that when my schedule allows. But you have some industry players. You have some USPAP instructors,
Right.
a whole lot of experience. And then you also have some folks that either are new to the profession or they may have some years in the profession on them, but they're experiencing a situation and they have a question. I remember one talking about we focused a lot on
Right.
safety on an inspection, and just hearing people have these discussions, it's fun,
Mhm.
it's entertaining, but it's also I learned a lot.
A lot.
And I mean, USPAP says we need to do what our peers do,
Exactly.
but if you never talk to your peers, how do you know what they're doing?
Exactly. And, if you're not one of the people that come to a state meeting or a national meeting, then you don't know what your peers are doing. So
Right.
log into Clubhouse at any of those chat rooms. It's like a chat room, I guess is the
It is.
way.
It's a live chat room.
It's a
It's
live
free.
and it is free. Even though our NAA people host those rooms, it is not directly affiliated with NAA, but it's usually
Right.
full of members.
I love it. I love it. So if someone is interested in joining NAA, would you recommend they just check out your website?
Check out the website. Message me individually. You're free to share my information, Julie.
Okay.
Anytime, I am happy to talk to anyone. And if they have questions on why I should join, and if they give me a call, I may give them a discount code for a year.
Oh, I like
I
it.
like this. Don't tell Teresa though; she'll kill me.
I may or may not have been the recipient of we had a great discussion last year on why I should be a member of NAA. I may have received one of those discount codes and I couldn't be happier. I
Exactly,
think it's a great organization. And as appraisers, we need a united voice.
we do.
We need to be heard.
We really do. We want to be there to provide opportunities for appraisers. That's what
Mhm.
my goal is always is. I would say I want to grow the membership, but my goal is not to grow the membership, is to provide opportunities for appraisers to network and
Absolutely.
to grow their knowledge, to grow their business, and to grow in being a better appraiser. Because I feel like I'm a good appraiser, but is there things that I can learn? Julie, after 32 years in the business, I
Sure.
guarantee you there is a lot that I have to learn.
Wonderful. So, if you're listening and you want to reach out to Malinda to become a member or ask some questions about the National Association of Appraisers, Melinda's email address is Malinda Griffin. That's MalindaGriffin @gmail.com, right?
Exactly.
That's perfect. So reach out to Melinda, she can help you out, or just go to the NAA website and that was
Mhm.
naappraisers.com.
.org.
Org. Sorry about that. .org.
Yes.
So check it out. I hope that we see you at Appraisal Summit in the fall or next year in San
Yeah.
Antonio in the spring. That
So
would be
the
amazing.
summit is September the 16th to the 18th, and the ICE conference is the first weekend in April, which
Okay.
is in San Antonio. And I'll tell you a little secret. If you That's also the Final Four in San Antonio.
Ooh, so book early.
So book early. I think the block will be opening up soon. And we're not going to be on River Walk, I think it's called. Um,
Right?
but we're close by. And so
Great.
you definitely, have a lot of opportunities to do some fun things in addition to getting your education for the year.
I love it. I call it edutainment. It's
Oh,
educational and entertaining.
I'm gonna use that.
Feel free. I got that word from my good friend Kevin Hecht.
I love
So feel free to share that all you want.
it.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today, Melinda. I know your dance card is pretty darn full, so it means a lot to me that you carved out some time for me and for our listeners.
It's a great time to be here, and I appreciate your support for NAA and for being a member yourself.
Yep.
And look forward to seeing you soon.
And speaking of listeners, thanks to all of you. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcast. And thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Beyond the Numbers. If you'd like to stay at the forefront of appraisal news, boost your career, or just learn more about the profession, be sure to subscribe to Beyond the Numbers with McKissock Appraisal at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for stopping by.